Throughout time, people across the world told each other tales of how they came to be, of heroes and monsters, romance and tragedy, death and rebirth. Mythology helped shape the ancient world, explaining the unexplainable. This is Mythology Unleashed. In Yoruba mythology, Ogun is the divine spirit that presides over war, iron, and metal as a whole. His most frequent depiction is that of a tall, rugged, handsome man, muscle-bound from hammering iron in his forge, hunting in the forests and fields, and engaging in battle with those who would oppose him. In his hands, he may carry a machete, a smith's hammer, or a hunter's spear, all fashioned from iron. As the Orisha of iron, Ogun is primarily the patron of blacksmiths and craftsmen, but is also highly venerated among warriors and soldiers, who honor him through their usage of weapons. Swords, spears, and even guns and tanks of the modern age. But any who use metal tools are under the same patronage of Ogun. The builder with their hammer, the tailor and seamstress with their needle, the surgeon with their scalpel, the shaman with their blade, the sculptor with their chisel, the farmer with their hoe, hunter with their rifle, and so many more are under the watchful and diligent eye of Ogun. As with all of the orishas within the Yoruba pantheon, he is seen and venerated as an integral part of how the world came to be and continues to flow. Ogun is one of the oldest and most venerated of the orishas, having been the one to make the earth habitable for mankind and the gods. In the beginning of time, the orishas were blocked from the mortal world by a dense forest, which covered the land, a thicket so dense that none of the deities could penetrate it. That is, except for Ogun, who descended to the earth, adorned in blood and fire, brandishing his iron machete, and clearing a path so that the orishas may set foot upon the earth, and clearing the way for humanity to grow and thrive. In this story, Ogun unleashed fury, using his gift of iron in a destructive way in order to lay the foundations for creation. And from this story, Ogun would garner a reputation as the one who would remove obstacles in life. His serious, hard-working demeanor, coupled with his destructive tendencies and occasional wild appearance, made him somewhat standoffish to both mortals and immortals alike. But that would not stop him from aiding and even leading others. It is said that Ogun was the first king of the city of Ife, where for generations he defended his people with the bravery of a lion. Through a series of unfortunate circumstances that vary from tale to tale, Ogun felt disrespected by his subjects, and their betrayal fueled his rage beyond his control, leading to him beheading many who stood in his wake. When at last his rage subsided, and he saw what he had done, he fled to Ire-Ekiti, and lowered himself onto his sword, and sank into the earth. But before he disappeared from the mortal world, he assured the people that whenever they needed him, he would be there to answer their call. There is a notable duality to the character of Ogun that may be seen as ambivalent or contradictory. As a craftsman, he acts as a creator, but as a warrior, he equally plays the part of a destroyer. He represents both the knife that cuts the umbilical cord of a newborn, and the knife that slits the throat in a murder. The hammer that builds as well as the hammer that breaks, he is neither solely creator nor destroyer, but rather he is a force that enables change, sometimes a very drastic or even sudden change. But for any of his perceived inconsistency, The one aspect of Ogun that is constant is his protectiveness over those who follow him and invoke his name, aiding all in progressing through the challenges of life. Above all, he values honesty and integrity among the people, with a deep hatred of liars and deceivers. In Nigeria, it is tradition to swear oaths upon amulets and other pieces made from iron in honor of Ogun. Should the oaths be broken, vows of honesty not honored, Ogun would seek retribution in order to balance the scales, often in the form of an accident involving metal, such as a cut with a razor, or even a car crash in modern times. Though he is dedicated to serving mankind and cares deeply about those who follow him, he shows his love not in a way that is gentle, comforting, and soft like a warm blanket, but rather by being an iron-hard foundation for courage to grow upon, a shield to defend against attack, and a sword that cuts down the enemies in one's path. A true warrior god, if ever there was one. Intense, driven, and steadfast, Ogun is among the most multifaceted of deities found not only within African mythologies and folklore, but perhaps within the grand scope of world mythologies. The creativity of an artist, the diligence of a blacksmith, the courage of a warrior, the strength of a protector are all found within the Orisha that is Ogun. In his role as patron of iron, Ogun is seen as a facilitator of technological and societal advancement, associated with the tools and weapons crafted from metal, and symbolizing progress and innovation. At the same time, Ogun represents the unpredictable and potentially destructive power of metal and warfare, embodying the necessary, if harsh, aspects of change and transformation. Though Ogun's role can be seen as destructive, it is a destruction that leads to renewal and progress, much like how the clearing of weeds and dying plants in a garden can make way for new growth. This duality mirrors the natural cycle of change and continuity. Much like how seasons cycle through growth and decay, Ogun's influence encompasses both the creation of new methods and the dismantling of outdated ways, making way for new developments in the world.